So we were discussing about the software design, and in this the content we have taken is introduction, design principles, and design methods, and we'll see more of it of design methods that can be functional decomposition. First is the functional decomposition method. Then you have data flow design, that is SASD. In this, SA is software analysis and SD is software design. So this is known as data flow design. So first is functional decomposition, then you have data flow design, then we have design based on data structure. Design based on your data structure also. And then object oriented design is also the method. So sample of design methods. In this we have decision table. You can use decision tables, and you can use ER models, entity relationship models. You can also employ flow charts, FSM also, JSD. You'll see all these, JSP, etc., LCP, metaphor, so node cards also. So these are the sample for design methods: OBJ, OOD, PDL, Petri nets, software SASD, SAWM, SADT, SSADM, state charts. So we'll talk about all this. So first of all, let us see what is functional decomposition. The decomposition with respect to the functions, decomposing your problem into sub-problems with respect to their functionality or functions they are going to perform. So this is bottom up. This is top down. So if you have various functions already prepared, then you combine them to finally get a result is your bottom up. Top down is you have a problem in hand and continuously you decompose it into various sections and various parts that can be handled easily. This is the bottom up type. So extremes, as we saw, that these are bottom up and top down, and they are not used as such. Design is purely rational here. Clients do not know what they want. If this is the case, changes influence earlier decisions, people make errors, and project do not start from scratch. So this is where functional decomposition is required, rather than design may have a yo-yo character, means not very precise. We can only fake a rational design process. We cannot actually rationally design a process. Then we come to the data flow design by Uden and Constantine. Nowadays it has two-step process in data flow design, that is structured analysis and structured design. In this structured analysis, this is resulting in logical design drawn as a set of DFDs, data flow diagram. Okay, structured design, which is transforming the logical design into the program structure drawn on as a set of structure charts. Right. First, we are talking about the design. There are various design methods. One is the data flow design. In data flow design, we employ first software analysis, then software design. In software analysis, we create a logical design by using DFDs, and then with these DFDs, that is the structure design what we have, we transform this logical design into the program structure, actual program structure, using the structure charts. These are the entities in data flow diagrams. These are the external entities represented by this notation. These are the process, data flow, and data stores. Top level DFD or zero DFD, or they are called as context diagram. Context diagram, you have this management. Okay, for example, there is a library system. So this is a management, this is a client. So client request and he gets an acknowledgement, while the management gives direction and library system reports to the management. So this is a simplest level DFD, which is called as a context diagram. Now this is the first level decomposition. So we have various decomposition parts, like this is again the client management, and other parts remain the same, but it is much more exemplified. Means all the parts and all the relationship are being shown by using various data flow and data stores, etc. Then we come to the second level decomposition for preliminary processing. Okay, for example, check client data, or we'll use a database, of course. This database request will come. If it is not okay, if it is okay, then process request. It will again use some log file. It will borrow request, return request. This is the second level decomposition for the preliminary processing. This is an example mini specification. For example, identification, if it is process request, as we have saw in the earlier diagram. So we enter type of request. This is the identification and then description. So if it is valid, we go to some step. If it is invalid, we terminate the transaction. We enter book identification, valid, invalid, log client class identification, request type and book identification, so on and so forth. Then we come to the data dictionary entries. This is the data dictionary entries, like borrow request will have client ID plus book ID, and likewise, various log data can have client ID plus borrow, return, anybody plus the book ID. So the conventions used here are in this square brackets we include one of the enclosed options. In the pipe, these are the separate options, and plus means and bracket means round bracket means enclosed items are optional. So from data flow diagrams to structured charts, because ultimate aim is to create the structure chart from the DFDs. So the result of software analysis is actually a logical model which consists of a set of DFDs augmented by mini specs and data dictionary, as we have seen the DFDs also, the mini specs also, and the data dictionary also. So the result of the software analysis would all be logical model which have DFDs and mini specs and data dictionary, and the structure design will be to transit or convert the DFDs to the structure chart. So heuristics for these transitions are based on the notions of coupling and cohesion only. Major heuristic concern choice for top level structure chart is transform centered. This is the transform centered design. See how we can convert the actual figure into the modularized one. Now we come to the design based on data structure, that is JSP and JSD. JSP is Jackson Structure Programming. This is design based on the data structure. So Jackson's Structured Programming, JSP, for programming in the small, and JSD, that is Jackson's Structured Design, for programming in the large, JSD and JSP. So in JSP, the basic idea is like this: good programs reflect structure of its input and output. This is the basic idea. So program can be derived almost mechanically from a description of the input and output. Program can be derived. So input and output are depicted in a structured diagram and in the structured text or schematic logic, which is a kind of pseudocode only. And three basic assumptions are formed, like sequence, iteration, and selection. These are the basic compound forms, right? Three basic compound forms are sequence, iteration, and selection. So these compound components in JSP, this is the sequence, this is the iteration, this is the selection. So a JSP example would be, this is the input and this is the output. So until EOF, this is a pseudocode. Until EOF, read loop, read line, process line, write line, end loop. And another JSP example would be Jackson's input file. This is article, this is mutation, this is addition, removal. And you can have one more: output, heading, body, net mutation, like this. So this is a program, heading, contents, to article, make row, do article. These are various formations of JSP. Now structure clash, you can have structure clash means unsorted mutations, sorting program, sorted mutations, and process mutations. In this, we can have inversions also, like sorted mutations can have write mutation and read mutation. The fundamental issues in JSP, Jackson's, is model input and output using structure diagram is the main. So we merge diagrams to create a program structure. Meanwhile, we resolve structure clashes also, and we optimize the result through the program inversion. So the difference between JSP and other method is in the functional decomposition, data flow design. Problem structure is functional structure, then we come to the program structure. In JSP, the problem structure, we go to the data structure, and then we come to the program structure. JSD, that is Jackson's Structure Design, JSD. In this, the problem with JSP is how to obtain a mapping from the problem structure to the data structure. So JSD actually tries to fill this gap, that is obtaining a mapping from the problem structure to the data structure. So JSD has three stages. First is your modeling stage, then you have network stage, and then implementation stage. So this three stage. Modeling stage is description of real world problem in terms of entities and actions. Network stage is model system as a network of communicating processes, and implementation stage is transforming network into sequential design. Since JSD's modeling stage, JSD models the universe of discourse as a set of entities, And for each entity, the process is created with models on the life cycle of that entity. And the life cycle is depicted as the PSD, program process structure diagram. So this resembles JSP's structure diagram. PSDs are finite state diagrams. Only the roles of nodes and edges has been reversed. So in a PSD, the nodes denote transition while the edges denote the states. Now we come to object-oriented methods. Object-oriented methods, there are three major steps. First, we have to identify the objects. Then we have to determine their attribute and service. And then, after that, we have to determine the relationship between objects. So identifying the objects, then their attribute and services, and then finding the relationship among the objects. So the problem statement is like this in object-oriented. How we find the object-oriented, how we find the objects and relationship. So design the software to support the operations of a public library. The system has a number of stations for customer transactions. These stations are operated by library employees, and when a book is borrowed, the identification card of the client is read. Next, the station's barcode reader reads the book's code. When a book is returned, the identification card is not needed. Only the book's code needs to be read. So here we have underlined some words, some phrases. These underlined are maybe words, verbs, they may be nouns. Okay. So the candidate object would be all these: software library, all these nouns you can say. These are software library, system, station, customer, transaction, book, library, employee, identification card, client, barcode, reader, book's code. So we carefully consider candidate list here, and we eliminate implementation constructs such as software. We replace or eliminate vague terms like system or computer. Okay. Then we equate synonymous terms, customer and client, they both are same. So we change it to the client only. And we eliminate operation names if possible, such as transaction. And we try to be careful in what you really mean, because when we mean that, can a client be a library employee? Is it book copy rather than a book? So we eliminate individual objects as opposed to the classes. So this book's code, that is book's copy. Then we come to the relationship. Relationship, as we have seen the problem statement just now, employees operate on station. Station has a barcode. Barcode reader reads, has, operates. So these are all verbs, actions. So barcode reader reads identification card. So the tacit knowledge is library owns the computer, library owns the station, computer communicates with station, library employees, client is a member of a library, client has an identification card. So these all relationship are there. So this is the result. We have an initial class diagram right now. Okay, this is library, client, member of, owns. So just what the client has said, the problem statement was recorded. Just finding the nouns and the verbs, we have just formulated just by rational thinking and eliminating some redundancy. We have found that we have got a very initial class diagram, beautiful class diagram. This is the usage scenario, sequence diagram. First, a client will come and he will give the ID card. He will insert the ID card, and to the station that checking of identification will be done by the computer. The identification is okay. It is okay. The book copy is given. So all these things shows the sequence diagram. So object oriented as middle out design. What we mean by this is, first set of objects become middle level. To implement this, lower objects are required, often from the class library. So a control workflow set of objects constitute the top level. Object-oriented design methods, there are various methods. First is your Booch method. So early, new and rich set of notations are there in Booch. Then Fusion, more emphasis on the process. Then RUP, that is a full life cycle model associated with the UML. So RUP is Rational Unified Process. It is a full cycle, SDLC cycle by itself, life cycle, along with your associated with your unified modeling language. So first we talk about the Booch method. In this we identify class and objects. Then we identify semantic of class and object. We identify the relationship between class and object. And we identify interface and implementation of classes and objects. So in Fusion, what we do, analysis and then design. In analysis, see, we have object model, interface model, how these two models are there. Then design is object interaction graphs with the visibility graph, with the class description and inheritance graphs. Then we come to the RUP, that is the Rational Unified Process. This is often asked in interviews and question answers, So this is very important. You need to learn very carefully about this. So 9 workflows are there, requirements, analysis, and for design. 4 phases are there. 9 workflows, 4 phases. 4 phases are Inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. You can learn it by IECT. Inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. IECT. 9 workflows are there: requirements, analysis, and design. So analysis and design workflow. The first iterations we have already discussed in architecture. Next is we need to analyze the behavior from use case to set of design elements which produce the black box model of the solution. And finally, design components, they define the elements into classes and interfaces, etc. This is inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. So how to classify, that is the classification of design methods. Simple model with 2 dimensions can be used, or orientation dimension can be used. That can be problem oriented or product oriented. So orientation dimension, if it is problem oriented, we understand problem and its solution. If it is product oriented, we correct transformation from specification to implementation. And what about product and model dimension? That can be conceptual or formal. In conceptual, we have descriptive models. In formal, we have prescriptive models. These are the classification of design methods. So we have talked about ER modeling. This is conceptual, problem oriented. Structure analysis, conceptual, problem oriented. Structure design is product oriented, because here structure design is created so that you can code the program. And while formal, we have problem oriented, JSD, VDM 3. Third is, this is for second, third, fourth, JSD and VDM. While for formal product oriented, we have JSP and the function decomposition. Okay. What are characteristics of these classes? We understand the problem first, transform the implementation, represent the properties, and we create the implementation units. What are the caveats when choosing a particular design method? First, we need to have the familiarity with the problem domain and the designer experience, of course. Then the available tool which we have in hand, and development philosophy that we are going to adopt. So object orientation, does it really work? Do object oriented method adequately capture the requirement engineering? Do object oriented method adequately capture the design? And do object oriented methods adequately bridge the gap between the analysis and design? This is a question. So are object oriented method really an improvement? Yes, of course, if they are. So design pattern, it provides solution to the recurring problem. If something has been already made, why to use it? Just go to the pattern and use it. So balances set of opposing forces, design pattern, and documents well proved design experience. Abstraction above the level of a single component, and it provides common vocabulary and understanding, and are a means of documentation. So it supports construction of software with defined properties. Example design pattern would be like proxy. So context here is client needs services from other component, and direct access may not be the best approach. The problem is we do not want hardcore access. Solution is communication via represented, that is the proxy. So this is the example design pattern, command processor. The context is user interface that must be flexible or provides functionality beyond handling of user functions. The problem here is well-structured solutions for mapping interface to internal functionality, and all extras are separate from the interface. The solution is a separate component. The command processor takes care of all commands, actual execution of the command which is delegated. When we come to the anti-patterns, patterns describe desirable behavior. Anti-patterns describe situation one had better avoid. We need to avoid this. So anti-patterns, they describe situations one had better avoided. So in agile programming or agile approach of methodology, refactoring is applied whenever an anti-pattern has been introduced. Okay. What can be the example of anti-patterns? Like God class that holds most responsibility, lava flow, dead code means, and of course the poltergeist, that is class with free responsibility and a short life, and golden hammer, solution that does not fit the problem. And stovepipe means almost identical solution at different places, and Swiss Army knife, excessively complex class interface. So we have seen all these now, and we'll conclude. Essence of design process is to decompose the system into parts. Desirable properties of decomposition, we are interested in coupling and cohesion, information hiding, and the abstraction. There have been many attempts to express these properties into numbers. The design methods include the functional decomposition, the data flow design, the data structure design, and the object-oriented design. So thank you so much. Hope you have benefited by it. You need to really go to the book like Pressman, like Rajimal, and the book in this tutorial I have indicated. So you need to really learn, because design is a very important part, and most of the questions will come from here only. Thank you so much.